Oh my gosh. You guys near explosions, man. Those are crazy.
Hey now.
What you guys doing?
Hey.
What's happening?
Man, happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday. Halenville live on May the 16th, Sunday. Johnny Beane, CK, Charles Green down there. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Hope
Good.
you guys are rocking on, man.
Yeah, man.
Ned's joined us.
Yeah, Ned's here.
Ned's the coolest.
Oh, Ned's awesome.
Ned's a rocker.
Look at it. Look at him. He's great, man. Yeah, he's so much fun.
All right. Van Halen.
Man. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the clip, Johnny Beane? It's a really famous clip. They use it on a lot of podcasts where the lady goes, I've never heard of Van Halen. You ever heard that?
I think so. Maybe.
It's a famous soundbite. They use it on a lot of rock and roll podcasts.
That's cool. Yeah. Man. Hey, Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher. Christopher, what's going on, bro?
Randy Price, Will
Randy.
Starr,
Randy. How you doing, Randy?
Randy.
Sandra Picorni,
Sandra.
Thomas Santiago.
Thomas.
Hey, Randy Price. It was great. I met you yesterday, right? Wasn't that you?
Yeah,
I was live.
Yeah,
I was live in
on
my
Facebook.
Van Halen group, and somebody jumped in with me. I think that was Randy Price.
Yeah. And Randy was the winner of last night's trivia too on my other show. Yeah.
Awesome.
That pick.
Yeah, the Motorhead pick, and that is in the mail.
Wow.
It is in the mail. Yeah, so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to show you a lot of Van Halen backstage passes. I've gathered all these passes up, and
It's gonna be a long night. We saw the box already.
Yeah, he has like over 100.
This is gonna be one of those 9-hour shows you guys dread.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. I'm on the East Coast. Yeah. But yeah, so while it's on my mind, we are in we got 3 more weeks before Wolfgang's album hits the shelves. Yeah. So
yeah, that's exciting.
Very much wanting to hear that music.
Johnny, how many tracks has he put out already? 5, is it?
John BL.
I believe it is.
Officially,
It's 4 or 5.
officially,
I think it's 2.
a few. 3, 4, maybe 5.
I'm thinking 5. I'm thinking 5.
Been a while,
Yeah.
right? He started at the beginning of the year, right, or before
Yep.
Christmas.
Yeah, but he was playing clips of the stuff like years ago. So, but yeah, I think does that include with the music videos or with lyric videos?
Yeah, anything he releases musically accounts if he's already put it out before the record.
Yeah, because there was the first one. 1, 2, 3. I'm counting 3 or 4. Randy Price says it's 5. It must be because Randy knows what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
So
Randy knows his Van Halen.
I just guess they tend to put out a lot of music these days before the record actually hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah,
in the old days, they'd only put out one, usually one, maybe two. You know.
yeah, well, it's very different these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Oh, yeah.
music business. There is no music business, so it's everybody. It's everybody for themselves. Everybody is an artist, and yeah, especially with social media, with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all this stuff. It's yeah, it's very easy to drop a single or put something out. And it's a totally different what do you call it? What's the word?
Advanced promotion.
Not business. Promotion.
Dynamic.
Yeah, I can't think of it, but yeah, it's very different these days than the way it used to be, because now stuff is you guys. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I forget. We consume media so fast now. With Facebook, you open up Facebook, you're scrolling, and within the span of 2 minutes, you've already looked at probably 50 different things. And it's impossible to remember all that stuff. I mean, some of it you can, but so it's very tricky to get somebody's attention nowadays, and it has to be quick. Like when somebody clicks on your song or your video or whatever it is, you have to grab their attention within 2 seconds, or they'll scroll past it. But as far as the music business, releasing music videos, it's very different nowadays. There's regular videos that bands make. There's lyric videos where it's just where the words are on the screen. A lot of times bands will release like 2 sets of videos for like one song, a lyric video, then an actual video. There's so many different things, but yeah.
Nice, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Johnny, the long-term plan post-pandemic, will he go out and tour that record? And what do you think he'll do? Like clubs, theaters? What do you think?
Well, he's already scheduled to play at least a couple shows. He's playing one north of me up in Sacramento at a festival, and then it looked like he's playing a festival in Kentucky, I think.
And is that in the fall, like October or something?
It's
It's
soon.
October. Yeah, it's October.
Somewhat,
One of them's
yeah.
October.
later this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would assume he'd be playing a regular set of his new album. A handful of songs. And then after that, who knows? Yeah, doing clubs or theaters. Maybe. I'm just assuming.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Or getting on. Once the bigger. Well, I mean, a festival like the one up in Sacramento, that is those are pretty big shows. So I would think once that stuff starts happening and once regular touring starts happening again, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mammoth WVH jumping on a bigger tour with some bigger acts, like, the same genre of music as what he's doing.
Yeah.
Opening for or being middle slot or depending on the tour.
I can't wait to see Wolfgang live. I can't wait.
I know, right?
That's like my new thing. That's my new thing right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm anticipating it. I just knew I was going to see. I just knew I was going to see Eddie and the guys again, you know, and we all did, you know. And now the anticipation of seeing Wolfgang is, God, it's fresh, man. It's really cool. I can't wait.
And I could be wrong, but I would imagine that he's got to be headlining these big things, right, Johnny?
He'll draw a crowd. He'll draw a huge crowd.
I'm not sure if he's headlining these things because if you look at the flyers, the way that they're worded, the headliners are always in the bigger text, the bigger font, and those are the bands, you know, like the Metallicas, the main bands, you know. But these festival shows, they start earlier in the day and they have bands all day long. Yeah. So Wolfgang's band would be one of the bands throughout the day.
Can't wait.
So, but sure, yeah, eventually, yeah, I could see him headlining. Yeah, you know, get a couple more records out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for music to come back, just all that, because out here things are kind of getting back to normal somewhat. You know, out here in California, the masks, you know, come off in 1 month. Actually, on my birthday, so I'm thinking it's a present to me. Although I love wearing the mask. You know, I said this on my show last night. If you guys keep watching the episode of last night, you'll see me saying this. I would have been wearing the mask 20 years ago if I wouldn't have looked so weird. You know, because I had I've never really said this on these shows, but I've had anxiety. You know, I don't really have it anymore because doing these shows has really built up some sort of confidence, you know, came out of nowhere. But I used to have really bad anxiety, and I'd go out in public and I couldn't, I hated being in public and like standing in lines at places because I felt like people were like staring at me. And maybe sometimes they were, but I couldn't take it. So if I could have been wearing a mask and shades, you know, years ago, it would have been amazing. And I think it's great now. I have a great time doing it. So I'll keep doing it. And then eventually I'll be the weirdo again because I'll be the one wearing the mask. You know?
Yeah.
Well, things are coming down here in North Carolina. I know Tony can say for the same. Restrictions are coming down. Things are getting back to kind of like normal. Mm-hmm. Not totally, but
but we're starting to see more like outdoor shows now.
Oh yeah,
like at bars, like outdoor acoustic shows and stuff we haven't seen the past year, and like I'm seeing people sitting inside a Starbucks now. When's the last time somebody was able to sit in a Starbucks?
That's it.
You know?
That's it.
And
so it's kind of weird. Kind of cool.
In your state, Charles, do you still have to wear a mask when you go inside, like a convenience store or a store?
Here's the thing. All of the signs on like 7-Elevens, things of that, and you know, your gas stations and things, the signs have come down off the door in Charlotte. There's no more sign that says mask required. However, I was in a 7-Eleven today. There's 15, 20 people in the 7-Eleven. They've also cut back on restrictions of number of people who can go into the 7-Eleven. That being said, most people were still wearing masks. And I noticed most people in general are still wearing masks. I wear, when I'm out, I have I like just the pullover, you know, and because I can't stand the one behind the ears. I forget those things. They don't even function. I can't stand them. But I just have one that I pull over, and it's a staple. I just keep it on. I keep it with me. If I'm not, you know, if it gets too hot, I just pull it down around my neck, and I just wear it around my neck, and I always have it to pull up if I need it. And until the people around me relax, I'm not going to, out of respect for them.
Right.
So,
right.
You know, so I guess it works both ways. So that being said, because I had COVID, I actually had it in February of last year, along with everybody I knew, everyone for about a month and a half to 2 month period in my immediate circle. They had it. Everyone had it. Everyone got it. And thank God nobody died, in my immediate family. But we did lose friends of friends. And the seriousness of it was unknown back then because it was new and fresh. So everyone was getting sick. But even when Johnny, I think Johnny had it when he was at NAMM with John Mancuda. He possibly could have had it. And anyway, I've got off track here, but when I got over that, I've been fine since then. I haven't had any problems or anything like that, even though other people around me would get sick. I guess maybe once you had it, you build up an immunity to it. I'm still haven't had the shot yet, but I'm going to get it. My reasons aren't because I'm worried about me. It's purely the other side of the coin. It's about other people. And I want to be social when concerts start kicking, and they're going to. And we're going to see every flipping band you can imagine is going to tour in the next 2 years. And they may have requirements depending on where you're going that you have a vaccination card. It may be required publicly. It's something that's possibly going to happen. It hasn't, but it possibly is going to. If you want to be social and get out with people, you need to get yourself prepared for it. So that being said, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, man.
Tony, you were saying the other night about the Motley Crue, but I heard they made an announcement. They moved that whole tour again till next year.
2022.
Yeah, got moved again.
Yep.
Not happening.
Too big a show. It's too massive. They're going to move the massive things. But the small stuff, I was in Mount Holly. I said this the other night. I was in Mount Holly. I went past an outside it's just a little bar kind of a thing where they have an outside patio. There was 100 people on that patio, and there was a live band cranking music. And it was the first live music I've heard in well over a year. And it wasn't even my kind of music, but it was cool. It was good to hear it, So I'm hoping.
We are pointing in the right direction,
Yes.
Whether it all comes back now, I know we want it now. I want to drive to Charlotte, just a couple hours away, and me and you hook up and go watch that big stadium show.
Well, what's going to happen? It's going to happen. There's no doubt about that. It's just got to be patient. It's going to happen, though.
I know.
Sooner than later, I think.
But they did move that tour, right, Charles? I heard that.
2022 is what I heard.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Next year.
Man, I hope Mick's still able,
That's the one thing. Some of our favorites time is tough on old rockers.
Exactly.
They only have so many more shows in them. So I'm just looking for an opening real quick.
Yeah, was it Paul last night who said he doesn't think that Aussie tour will ever happen? Wasn't it Paul?
Yeah.
Remember they keep moving the Aussie tour over and over.
Yeah, unfortunately I think there's going to be a couple of performers that we're not going to.
I don't think what I think Paul meant, and I hate to say I agree, but it with COVID and that guy's health, we may never. It may be over. With him on a stage.
I caught him on that tour in 2019. It's the same one he's on, the No More Tours tour too.
Yeah.
It was before he started bouncing dates. It was kind of at the beginning of it.
I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
Yes.
But I hate to say that, but let's look at a couple of backstage passes, guys.
Yeah, nice.
Good stuff.
Cool with that?
Absolutely.
Let's check that out, man.
Let's how about that view?
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, Tony. That's cool, man.
Well, with the ticket.
Mm-hmm. And I know that they make replicas of this one, but this one is a old original, and I've had that a long time.
Oh, cool.
I like that they were using the logo back then.
Yeah.
Is that a 78?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one they do the replicas for the 78 guitars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've noticed a bunch of these lately, replicas of that one, but yeah. All right, so let's see how I want to do this. All right, I guess there's no easy way. So, all right, let's fast forward into 1980 here.
Oh, that's cool, Tony.
And this one is Jacksonville, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a cool one.
From 1980. All right. Fair warning, fair warning, fair warning. All right. Fair warning. All right. And a lot of these look like that for the Fair Warning tour.
Aftershow Spectrum.
All right. All right, so we'll do some diver downs and then we'll take a break. How's that? Yeah, goodness.
Oh, that one's cool with the lion.
I like that.
South America. Um, and then you have that kind.
Louisville. Has the date stamped on it right there, Tony? On the right-hand
Yeah.
corner?
Yeah, yeah. And some of these, like this one, actually have that on the back.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty neat.
And a lot of these have initials on them. And what the initials are, I mean, so you see the initials there. And what these initials happen now. Roth always said that his guys would scout the crowd for lovely young ladies, and they put their initials on it. And if he ever got with one of the girls, whoever's initial had their initials on it, on the girl who at the end of the night he was with, they got a cash prize or whatever like that. But as Dave said himself, why get in the way of a good rumor, you know? But the truth of it all is, with any band, you put the initials on it so you know who gave them out, whose peeps they are. If they act up, you look at the initials, you know, so you can tell which group, you know. Mike the roadie gave these wild ass heathens these passes, and they have his initials on them. So that's basically why the initials are on these passes. But, you know, yeah.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
Us Festival All Access.
Us Fest.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's got the correct date on it too. Heavy Metal Day. Yeah. But we yeah. Not realizing I had so many of each one, you know. I've had these things hanging off this cardboard Eddie stand up for years. Yeah, I don't know that I want to show all of these, but
Have you ever tried
these
putting them
are
all on?
no. These are all 1984.
Those are awesome, Tony. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, I like that logo that they used on the shirts. The Exterminator logo, right?
Western Exterminator. Yeah. Yeah.
How many do you have from that tour, Tony? Over 20 of them?
He has all of them.
Not all of them. Yeah.
I'm surprised this cardboard Eddie's still standing with all those passes on his neck. Don't you have almost 100 of them? Oh, that's cool. Greensboro.
That's awesome.
That's your gig, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a number of those. And there's some in here from
Raleigh.
yeah.
Do you have your original 1984 Backstage Pass when you met Eddie? Do you have your original pass?
That's it right there.
That one?
That one. And that's the pin I bought at the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see the pin, Tony. Hold the pin up close. Oh, dude.
Did you have that shirt, Tony? The
That's
original
cool.
1984
That's so
shirt
cool.
with that logo on it?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many. I didn't realize I had this many of them, and here's a interesting one. The Knoxville DLR. I don't know if he gave that out himself or what and what, but yeah. So that's that.
That's awesome.
1984's. Lord have mercy. All right. And there's some in here that are signed too. So there's just a couple of those off of that tour. Monsters.
Cool.
Monsters.
That's very cool, man.
Monsters.
Oh, that's really neat.
OU812 and OU812.
Those are cool, man.
Yeah. All right. So next tour is a few from Carnal Knowledge. I'm going to show you that one last. And the VIP.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I like the gold on that one. It reflects. It's like a foil, right?
yeah.
Nice.
There's another one of those. All right. So the jewel of these is that one.
Signed by Eddie.
Yeah.
That is super cool, man.
Yeah.
And who's going to win that one tonight?
Nobody.
Me. I've already won, right?
Oh.
Winner.
Wow, that's cool.
And not realizing I collect these things, and I'll get some, hang them on the cardboard, and just years and years of that. But I didn't realize that I have so many of the right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have the ones with Sherman?
Who is Sherman?
Right, the Dalmatian.
Do
you have the ones? I think they had passes with with the Dalmatian and is it Ken Dean? I think, who worked at the studio. I think I remember seeing pictures of those.
Balance Tour maybe, and we'll get right there in just a second. These are some of the right here, right now. Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of those. All right, and a bunch of Balance too. Goodness. All right. All right, so that's the Balance. And this was a dude named John Bogue. And his name is on other passes. And you got that one right there from Balance. And this is a interesting one. It's like that, but it's got the and I don't know what his role was on the staff, but and they made some like that. And there's another name. And I don't know if these guys were riggers or what they were.
It might say in those itineraries.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it'll have their names.
All right, and that's a VIP from Balance.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen most of these. Yeah, I passed out. My camera fell off and busted. That's why it's not on.
Oh, Lord.
That's not good.
And there's that name, John Bogue, again.
I'd love to know who that guy is or what he did.
Yeah. All right, so 04 comes around and you got stuff that looks like this. And these two are ultra cool. This is the VIP from 04.
Yeah, that's a cool looking pass with the eagle.
Yeah.
Oh, who signed that one?
Mike.
Nice.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And you got another 04 from Auburn Hills. And this actually has the matching lanyard that came with it. From Auburn Hills there. And this one on the back is signed by Alex.
Cool.
That's a great signature. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so that's the last tour. All right. So these are really cool here. This is from 07, 08 in Oakland.
I like how that one has the old first record Van Halen logo on it.
Yeah, that's from 08. And this is from 08 in Raleigh.
Nice. Did you see that gig, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah. And the jewel of these, this is the first show of Wolf, and that's Charlotte, September 27th, 2007.
That's iconic right there.
Yeah.
Opening night, right?
Opening night, dude.
Of the reunion tour with Wolfgang.
Yeah. Yeah.
They say it would never happen with Roth.
All right. So this is the final tour. And this is the final tour.
Man, those are great.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is this other stuff here? All right. This is just I got some cool. That's one of the Roth tours there. And this is actually 05 and it's signed.
That's cool. Mm-hmm.
And this is from the Sam and Dave tour. And there's a few of these.
Oh, that's cool looking.
That's great.
Nice.
And that was about a week and a half into the Eat 'em and Smile tour in Charlotte.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. About a week and a half into it. That's it. It's all of them.
Man, that's a lot of history, Tony. My God, man.
That's all of them. Yeah. Lots of multiples too of various tours. I didn't realize there were as many multiples as there is, but yeah.
Tony, how do you keep Cardboard Eddie standing with all those laminates on his neck?
Good question. He's got a wire in the back of it, held by a hook up against the wall there. Because obviously that's a lot
Do
of
you have him
weight.
anchored to the wall so he doesn't fall over?
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna put all those back on him. I may just keep him in this EVH box here. He looks kind of good up there, you know. It's the you remember the PV cardboard stand up, the 95, where he's got the short hair and the pink shirt and the Wolfgang by his side. That's what it is. Yeah.
The lumberjack phase?
N- no. Where he's got the spiked hair,
Yeah, and the beard?
yeah. Lumberjack phase, you call it, huh?
Yeah, because when I saw him here, he had short hair, a beard, flannel shirt, a t-shirt, ripped jeans, and work boots.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That was the 95 look. The grunge.
Balance.
The grunge,
Yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah.
I call it his lumberjack phase.
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great name, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's different Eddies through the years.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Price calls it the construction worker phase.
Yeah. I don't know how many's there. Maybe 80 or 100 I showed you guys. That is all of them. I hadn't looked at most of these in ages. I'll get one and hang it up, and covers up the rest. Yeah.
Crazy, man. That's a lot of stuff. Ned. Yeah, sorry my camera's off. It's just crazy around here.
I know, it's here too.
Sundays.
Yeah.
I'm here though. I'm watching.
Yeah. You went and watched these guys, Charles. You told me Anaheim in '82.
Yeah. Yep. 82 and 84 were my 2 big years for Van Halen as far as seeing them. I was fortunate in the end of 80 and most of all of 81. I got to interact with Dave several occasions. Got to meet Mike a couple of times. Got to meet Mike's little brother. His little brother had a band named Stefan. I believe the pronunciation of Mike's little brother, Stefan. And he had a band. They submitted a tape for audition, and they were accepted. And I got to the club early that day, and so I come up the back stairs, and there's this kid, and he's in spandex, and he's stretching and getting ready for a show. He was in the he was in and out of the dressing room in the hallway and back, and he stops and he says, "Hey, are you Chuck?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, they told me that I could hook up with you, that you were, going to be my go-to guy tonight, and we're supposed to play here." And he was all excited, and this kid was so excited. And he said it was this only, if I get this correct, because I'm remembering this from a long time ago, but he told me that they had submitted the tape, and he was amazed that they'd been accepted because I think it was only their second gig, and they had played, I think it was a Moose Lodge in the Valley or something like that. I'm getting the story almost right. And then he tells me, he says, he was such an honest guy. And he sticks out, looks like a sore thumb in my memory. He told me that he was underage and he thought he had to be 18 to play at the Whiskey. And I told him that he was an act, and so I could care less if somebody tried to come through the door and they weren't of age, that's a problem. But when you're an entertainer and you're not in the club, you're in a back section, you're performing, the rules don't really apply. He was really concerned about it. He was confessing it to me and stuff. So we were talking. And in this conversation, he just arbitrarily mentions that he's Michael Anthony's little brother. And that got my attention. I was all ears at that moment, right? And
that's
so
your pass right there.
Well, here's the thing. So he tells me, he says, yeah, and the other guys in the band were showing up, and he was early to this gig. He was so excited. He was playing the Whiskey, and he was such a nice guy. And so he tells me he's Michael's little brother, and that Michael was going to be dropping by, and he was going to wish him luck, and he was going to, give him a send-off because it was a big deal. And sure enough, a little while later, it was well before showtime. They weren't going on for a while, but there was a boom boom at the steel door, and I go down, open it up, and there's Mike standing there. I'm fanboying big time, trying not to be stupid, trying not to, And I said, "Come on up, man." And ironically, the power had been shut off at the club. Some guys were doing some work down in the kitchen. They flipped something went off. The lights went off. So I had my mag light, and it was pitch black on the stairs. So I flipped the light on, and I said, tell Mike, you watch your step, don't trip down the stairs. And we went up the stairs, got him in the dressing room. Emergency lights came back on. So it was like very dimly lit, very shadowy. And he shook my hand when we got to the top of the stairs. And I just told him I thought he was the greatest freaking bass player alive. And I told him, I said, your brother's really excited about playing here tonight. And he goes, "Yeah, I know. He's really nice guy." So anyway, they go in, and he's in there for a little while, and you could hear them all hugging and wishing each other well. And so Mike comes down, and the lights were still off. I had to let him back down the stairs with a flashlight so he didn't trip. And, you know, I got to shake his hand when he went out the door. That was the first time I ever met him. But his brother's band they were pretty good. They were all right. It wasn't a major night. It was kind of an off night, like a Tuesday or a Thursday night. And the club wasn't really super crowded that night. And it was a lot of like friends and family would show up on those kind of nights. You know, your groupie and whatever, your friends would show up, see your band play.
Mhm.
But that's one of my fondest memories of the club is meeting Michael Anthony's little brother and getting to meet Michael at the same time. So, and that was the first time I met him. I met him again another time. He showed up there at the club again, and same thing. Got to shake his hand, fanboy out for a minute, tell him how much I loved him. Couldn't help it, man. And yeah, that's my Michael Anthony story.
Man, I told you he called me one time. Didn't
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
his brother. He
What were you
called
telling
me.
me about? Yeah.
It was my birthday. This is probably
Yeah.
a couple 2 years, 3 years. And all of a sudden I get it, you know, on Facebook, people can call you. And it starts ringing. I answer it and it's him. And he's like, Johnny, I just want to wish you happy birthday. And then he started talking to me and then the feed cut out.
Oh, that's
And that
too
was
bad.
it.
That's too
That was-
bad.
That was it. But
Well,
yeah,
Johnny,
it was cool.
if next time you speak to him, I want you to, he will remember me. Okay. He's going to remember the conversation and the whole thing. And because we hung out it was a couple of hours, you know, a couple of 3 hours for the whole gig. So
Mhm.
if you get a chance to see me, tell him I said hi.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, that's cool.
What was the deal, Johnny? I don't know when it was, a number of years ago, where you were interviewing Michael with the panel. It was like eight or nine of you.
Oh yeah,
on
there's
the
been a couple
panel.
of those. There's been a couple of those. Yeah, that was in the early days of what was called Google Hangouts, and pretty much the start of this type of thing was on Google. And this was 2011, 2012 somewhere, and the band Chickenfoot, they would host these Google Hangouts where they would invite fans to jump in and ask a question. And but it was very early in this type of deal that we all do now all the time, you know, this type of, you know, panel type of thing. So it was kind of awkward, kind of weird. There'd be a lot of echo, you know, a lot of just like weirdness, you know. But the videos are still up on some of those channels. I mean, I've got them on my channel, just filming the screen, you know. But actually, if you go to Michael Anthony's YouTube, one of the videos that I did with him is there, and I'm actually the thumbnail for that video. You see my face, so you'll know the video because you'll just see my face.
Yeah.
You know.
Check that out.
I think that was the second one that I did with him. Just asking a question, just asking, you know. I talked to him a couple times on Google Hangouts on his channel, on the Chickenfoot channel, and then I think on his channel. And then I've talked to him. I called into, you guys remember Rockline, you know, the radio show. I called in and got in and talked to him. Actually, him and Sammy and Satriani. I asked Mike a question, but they all kind of chimed in. Then I talked to Satriani. It was the same day I talked to Mike. One of those times, because it was like not all day, but like Michael would go live, people could jump in, talk to him, you know, and then Satriani would go live, and then Hagar. Did Hagar go live? Maybe not. Or Hagar was part of the Satriani one. Like the kid right after I hung up, you know, you would hang up and then you would still watch, so you would still see what's going on. The guy that goes on after me, he ends up he's talking to Satriani. I think it was Satriani. And then all of a sudden Sammy walked in or something. So that he got bonus. He got to talk to Sammy too. And I was like, oh man.
Very cool.
I missed
What
that, you know.
did you ask Michael?
Let's see. The very first time I talked to him, let me think. I asked him maybe if he had a home studio, I think. And I think at the time he was moving or he just moved. And so he said he didn't really have like an actual studio, but he had like a little setup, with like an amp and a, recording little player and headphones. And look, Ned's trying to get out. He just had a little setup where we would jam. And then I think another time I talked to him on a hangout, I asked him if that same time about the studio, I asked him if he wrote stuff, and he's like, yeah, he comes up with stuff here and there. And then another time I asked him about his basses, like how many basses he had and what kind of basses and whatever.
Yeah.
And then on when I talked to him on Rockline, I asked him what's it like traveling to band rehearsals, because he lives down in Southern California, but he'd fly up here because Hagar has his studio up here, in Marin, which is slightly north of me, few hours. And so I asked him what's it's like, traveling back and forth, and he's like, "Oh, it's cool, maybe I'll play you guys the clips at some point. I mean, I have them on like an iPod."
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, and then I've seen him at NAMM many times, and all those videos are on my channel. So actually, if you go to johnnybean.tv, right there, there's a lot of NAMM videos of me going up to him saying hi and sorry, that's dinner being prepared. But yeah, I've seen him many times, and yeah, he's always been super cool. Very, very, very cool dude. Charles,
Yeah.
you can.
He's the first. I opened the door and I'm looking at him. He's standing there in flip flops, cargo shorts, tank top, Varney sunglasses, tan. Looked like he spent a month in Mexico. And I didn't fanboy out too much. I've seen a lot of rockers. Ozzy, I tripped when I saw Ozzy. He freaked me out. But seeing Michael Anthony was really cool. Getting to shake his hand, just getting to actually just see him interact with his brother and just being a regular guy. Priceless. Because it's, that's my attitude of him. When you meet somebody, that the way they act is the way that your mindset is of them. You make a sort of a judgment of them, and I've met some rockers that I just really couldn't stand. Now, no names, it's cool. But Michael Anthony was a class act. His brother, Stefan, class act. Nice guy.
Everybody I've ever met from Van Halen, they've always been awesome. Michael Anthony, Edward, when I met him, he was incredible. He was so fun. We were joking around. He gave me a fist bump to the chest, which I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
And then Sammy's always been just hilarious. I mean, he's so much fun.
Yeah.
And there's no ego with any of those guys. There was no attitude, just regular dudes.
Yeah.
But then you go to NAMM and you go up to another guy in some other band and he could care less. Like you're bothering them.
Yeah.
Even though they're there to meet. The reason is
tell a lot about these individuals by the way they treat their fans. It's really obvious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a shame if you have a not so good experience with a meet and greet or a chance meeting or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it depends though what it is. Let's say you're at dinner and you see so and so, eating. You don't just go up to them. You wait and maybe if you're leaving or you run into them outside, hey, like to, just great to meet you type of thing.
Yeah.
It really depends. Really depends on the situation
Yeah.
and whatever. But
Hey, they are just regular people.
yeah, but especially stuff like the NAMM show or like a meet and greet, like at a concert, which I've never done. I've never gone to any, but especially that type of stuff. If it's not a great experience, which I haven't had as far as going to like a meet and greet type of thing, but I've heard stories about, just rock stars and people that met them, and it's like they meet them and then it's nothing at all like what they thought it would be, and then it just turns them off, and they're like, they go home and they throw their records in the trash. Like, I'm not supporting these guys anymore because they wasn't cool. I've heard stories like that. I've never experienced anything like that, but
Dave, and this is 81, so he was on top of the world legitimately, and he was always. He's more of a comedian than a lot of people give him credit for, especially back in the old days. And I'll tell you a story. You guys want to hear a quick little story? This is a good one. So one night it's a Rats playing, sold out show, and there's an after party. I'm invited. I get invited. My girlfriend Gwen I get to go. So it's the end of the night. It's very, very late. I come out of the club, I hand Gwen my keys, and I say, let's go start the car, go get it ready. And Tommy Lee was going to ride with me and his girlfriend. I think her name was Diane, I believe at the time. Great girl, by the way. Wonderful, wonderful girl. And so I'm in the club, I come out, and Gwen is standing there in tears with Tommy and his girlfriend, and she has taken the key to my car, put it in upside down, and turned it the wrong way and twisted it off in the ignition. Okay. Party over at that moment. Tommy and his girlfriend take off. They go with another friend. Get a cab. Gwen comes. She goes home. I'm there all night long trying to get my ignition undone, messing with it, trying to blah, blah, this, that, and the other thing. So anyway, long story short, it's about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun is just coming up. Sunset Boulevard is Sunset Boulevard in the morning. And it's a Sunday morning, by the way, Sunday morning. And so my dad ends up coming up there to bring me a toolbox so that I can get into to get the ignition. The steering wheel was still locked. I got the ignition undone. I got the car started, but I couldn't get the steering wheel unlocked to drive it. So I had to have a couple of tools. Anyway, so I finally get the thing undone, and my dad's sitting in the passenger seat with me. And out of the left hand of my peripheral, I hear, and I could see people coming, and I hear Tommy. It's Tommy Lee, and he goes, "Chuck, you're still here." I turn and look, and he's standing there with Lita Ford, David Lee Roth, Robin Crosby, and about 9 or 10 of their entourage, girlfriends, friends, this and that. And they all walk up in a group, and they surround themselves around my little BMW. And they surround themselves, and Tommy leans in to my father. Now, my dad had never been to Sunset Boulevard. He was about as straight-laced a guy as you could imagine, straight-laced. And he's standing there, he's sitting there next to me. Tommy leans in and he shakes my dad's hand, and they're all waving to my dad and all this. And, they're asking me about my car and this and that and the other thing. But long story short, I say goodbye to him, blah, blah, this and that. They're walking up the hill, and my dad looks at me and he goes, "Who are they?" And I said, "Dad, those are rock stars." And he just looked at me with the blankest look on his face. He says, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, you have no idea who you just met." Just like that. And that's Hollywood, man. That's Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Man, that's a cool story.
I got to go some other parties. It wasn't the only party I ever got to go to. So I didn't miss out on anything, but yeah, that's Hollywood. That's how it was, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know who used to see a lot? Lita Ford. She had this gold Trans Am. It was like a 78 or 7. I think it was a 79 actually. And she would had the moon, the T-top with the moon roofs. You remove them, and so she'd always be driving around. You could hear Iron Maiden cranking out of her stereo. Her and Nikki would hang out a lot. And they'd drive. You'd see them driving by all the time. If I had $1 for every time I saw her and Nikki cruise by in her Trans Am, I'd have $30 in my hand. It was just all the time it would happen. And real nice girl. Real nice girl. Real good time, man.
Awesome.
Nice.
Hey, Laz.
Laz, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Roth in 81. Yeah. He was a character then.
He would come up and like to hide backstage a lot of the time. They all did like to hide. And he'd come up to me every once in a while and he'd say in that voice of his with that just grin. He was just awesome. He'd say, "Hey, Chuck, have you got an El Marco?" Because I had a pen. We drew on the walls, artwork on the walls. Backstage was encouraged. It was encouraged. And so he did a lot of, he'd write like poetry, song lyrics, things like that on the same walls that Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin and all kinds of old school rockers would write on the same walls. And Mario would come in with plywood sometimes. Sometimes it wasn't even sheetrock. He would just plywood over it and keep it there like a time capsule. And the backstage has layers of time capsules in some of the rooms. Really cool stuff. Really cool
Nice.
stuff.
Nice. You told me once, Charles, that you're in the men's room.
You didn't want me to tell that story? Oh.
Yeah.
One time I'm standing at a urinal in the downstairs bathroom on the main floor of the whiskey, and I'm just standing there doing my business, and someone walks up and stands next to me, the one next to me. And it's Dave. And he just was standing there talking, and he started drawing on the wall again. The same thing, pull out on a Marco, and we were just having conversation. And the thing about it is the words he was writing on that wall, ironically, as 1981, were reflections of Jump. And he gets finished, and he turns around, and as he's walking away, he says, Chuck, he says, sometimes you just got to step off and let the chips fall where they fall. And he was referring to Jump, and it was coinciding with what he had written up there right above the urinal. And it was there forever. It was there for months and months and months. And, he didn't sign it. Nobody really knew David wrote it, but it was right there in everybody's face. And that was just cool. Great guy. Unbelievable. He's my favorite. He always will be. Yeah. Because I had a personal interaction with him. That's how it works, It wasn't negative. It was positive, and it was cool.
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool.
Wow. Yeah. You met your share of characters at that club.
Yeah.
Charles, if you don't mind me asking, what's your Aussie story? Because you said he freaked you out.
Oh, I fanboyed big time, dude. CK, I was working a Saxon show, and it was a long weekend. They took the club over for the whole weekend, And it was the second night, and it was between the third and fourth show on the second night.
What years are we talking? Early
81, 1981.
Okay, so Ozzy was just kind of in his solo career then.
Diary of a Madman was the hugest thing. It was
a great album. That's my favorite album.
On the corner of the strip, right, just kitty corner away from the whiskey, right on top of, I don't know if you're familiar with the Sunset Strip, but there was a billboard that used to say Angelina or Angeline. It was very popular. It's a girl named Angeline. Well, that was the Diary of a Madman album cover essentially for 3 months, maybe 4 months long. And so he's really, they're from the same neck of the woods and probably the same neighborhood in England. And so they knew each other. And so Biff and Ozzy and all the guys in Saxon were very good friends with Ozzy, but I didn't know he was coming. I had no idea. He was not on my guest list. He wasn't on no one knew he was coming. And so I came downstairs and I was standing I had this doorway I sort of stood into, and that's where I would let people come backstage, interact with people. And there was it was very dimly lit. It always was very dimly lit. And over on the left-hand side, there was these two eyes were looking at me, man. I could see them. They were just peering at me, but I couldn't focus on, I saw a silhouette and two eyes. And he steps forward, and sure as shit, it's Ozzy. And I look, I said, Ozzy. I fanboyed out big time, man. I shook his hand. I said, dude, because he goes, can I get backstage? I said, dude, right this way. He went up into Saxon's dressing room, and they were up there for a while. He was hanging out. Now I wanted to get up in there because I wanted to see Ozzy. So I forget if it was a liquor delivery going into the room or something, but I went up and I got into the room. I walked into the room. And as I came in, if you're familiar with the whiskey, on the main dressing room, the number one dressing room is on the corner. And there's windows that come around, and there's a window right on the corner there that you can look right out, and you can literally lean there and look right up and down the strip. And it's a beautiful vista. It's great. And if you've earned the right to be in the number one dressing room at the Whiskey A Go-Go, it's a spectacular situation. It's a beautiful place. And he's standing there with Biff, and Biff's got his arm around him. And I told the story before. Ozzy was so wasted that he didn't recognize his own album cover across the street on a billboard. And Biff had to ask him 3 times, I believe he asked him. He said, no, Ozzy, it's your billboard. He says, what's it like having a billboard with your face on it on Sunset Boulevard? And Ozzy says, what do you mean? He didn't focus, couldn't see it. And so he asked him 3 times. Finally, Ozzy saw, and he, it was a laugh. But that's what happened when I got in the dressing room when Ozzy was in there with Saxon. And
that's
so
a great period.
Just fanboying. So anyway, when he came out, he came down the stairs. I got to shake Ozzy's hand. I shook Ozzy's hand. I didn't fanboy and flip out too many times. But I did a couple of times. There were Billy Idol and his band, Steve Stevens with his whole band showed up at the door one time. And that was one of the best damn nights I can remember at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I literally got to hang backstage with Billy Idol and his band. He's drinking Wild Turkey, passing the bottle around. Steve brought his guitar. So there's a knock at the door. I open the door, and Billy's standing there with Steve Stevens and his whole band and a limousine parked right behind him. Got the bottle of Wild Turkey. And I said, Billy. Then I look over, I said, Steve. Then I look, I said, oh, damn, you got your whole band. I started freaking out, right? And so they came in, he played between, this is what they did. They got on stage, and this band called Roach and the White Boys were playing. It was like kind of a rocky thing. And the Bus Boys, they were in that movie 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Well, me and the bass player of the Bus Boys got along really well because they played there a few times. They were almost a regular. They played 3 times, I think, in 1981. And so anyway, between the set, it was they asked Roach and the White Boys if they could use their instruments and do a few songs. And they were like, yeah, no problem. So they worked the whole thing out, and they took the extra 15 minutes to get things set up. And it wasn't perfect. It wasn't. It was very impromptu, but he played White Wedding and Ride the Pony, just all of his classics. They did them all. And it was outstanding. And he is one of the nicest guys I have ever met, period, hands down. Class act. Him and Steve, those guys were absolutely wonderful. And that's actually one of the best memories I have of the Whiskey A Go-Go, was hanging out with Billy Idol and his band. That was cool. It was way cool.
Wow.
Another thing he did, because, I was telling you about Dave, and he was writing lyrics and stuff that pertained to Jump. Well, Billy was sitting down in this chair, and he, one of the cocktail waitresses was friends with him. They knew each other, actually. And she says, Billy, what are you doing? And he looks at her, and he just, without clicking a beat, he goes, sweetheart, I'm dancing with myself. Just like that. And he hadn't written the song yet, but he did a few years later. That was one of his biggest hits.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Wow, that's wild, man.
Kind of cool.
Dang. So speaking of the Bus Boys, you know who their guitar player is, right? Or was?
Well, you know something I don't then. Yeah, I've got his face right here I've hung out with him.
The Bus Boys, their guitar player was Vic Johnson, who
Really?
go on to become Sammy's guitar player now the past 20-something years.
You're kidding me.
No.
Seriously.
Yeah.
The Butterman.
And he's in the movie. You see him in 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Actually. But he has hair. He has hair.
Yeah.
And I met him.
I didn't make that. I never knew that, Johnny. See, this is why I watch this show. You find out those little things that you never know, man.
Johnny, Vic Johnson is in the movie 48 Hours.
Yeah. He's the guitar player on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, in a club scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were actually a club band. The Bus Boys toured all over the place, and they sold the whiskey out. Every time they played, they'd sell 2 nights, back-to-back 4 shows. They always had, every time they played there, they had Roach and the White Boys playing. And
so ultimately, Charles, you interacted with these guys and Vic and never knew it was him.
I had no idea, because you got to remember something. When I was in the clubs, they weren't rock stars yet. Most of them weren't rock stars. I interacted with guys who became rock stars or didn't become rock stars. There was a lot of, it's funny. I was telling a Metallica story about James. The time he was in that club, Cliff Burton was playing in a band, and they played the whiskey all the time. The name of the band was Turbo, I believe. I think it was Turbo was the name of the band, and it was Cliff's band. He played bass in that band. And James and Lars would be in the club, and I really couldn't figure out. They were just there. They were always there. And what they were doing was they were scoping out Burton. They were scoping him. That's why they were there. They were trying to recruit him into Metallica. It hadn't happened yet. And that's how it worked. I've seen dozens of guitar players, bass players, drummers go from band to band, switch back and forth. And everybody wants a special member of the band. Everyone wants that one guy who's going to make something happen. At least that's the way it seemed to me. And saw a lot of rockers, man. A lot of rockers, Tony.
You said you saw Kevin backstage scoping
Kevin, bro.
Carlos.
Yeah. I was there the night he came to the club. He had a guy from a record company. He was a record guy. I don't know what his position was, but he was a suit is what we used to refer to him as. That's what we refer to him as. And they walked right up to Snow's dressing room. He walked into that dressing room. He came out with Carlos 2 minutes later. They went down to the end of the hallway. They were there for 3 to 5 minutes. They came back up that hallway just hugging and kissing. I mean, just chums. He walks back into the dressing room, Carlos does, and Kevin in the suit, they leave. Kevin walks by me, gives me a little fist bump kind of a thing. We were friendly. We were friendly. And about 2 minutes later, one of the roadies of Snow comes out of the dressing room, and he was pissed. He was kind of stomping up and down the hallway and hanging his head and mumbling to himself. And I said, dude, what's up? And he goes, man, you don't do that. I said, what do you mean you don't do it? He goes, you don't do that. You don't come into another band's dressing room and steal their guitar player. And so I'm doing the math in my head. I'm going, see what the guitar player was. Carlos's guitar player. He stole Carlos. Why? I'm thinking, why? He was building Quiet Riot. He not only stole their guitar player, which made the end of that band. He walked into that dressing room and eviscerated that band. It was no more. They were gone after that moment. The song that they opened every show with was a 5-chord riff to Metal Health. It was a Carlos Cavazos song. Him and Kevin rewrote it and made Metal Health out of it. So he not only came in, took their guitar player, eviscerated the band, he took their opening song. He took their opening song. That's just a good example of how things are and how things were.
And combinations of personalities.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he wanted Carlos's, and here's the thing. I understand it, because looking back at it, Carlos was a standout guitar player. He shined like a diamond. And there was a lot of guitar players. I mean, there was this guitar player. What do you do? I play guitar. Everyone played something. And
guitar.
There you go. But they didn't all shine, and so that's the thing. And so he was at the top of the heap. I understand why Kevin did it. We all obviously made a good decision. But it's hard, it's tough on them. They were all hurt after the rest of the show, the rest of that night. They were done playing, but it was a big fallout. It was the first time I'd seen a band break up right there in front of me in real time, because it was over. Essentially, they had no more guitar player. And there was a lot of animosity that just kept building throughout the rest of the evening. It was interesting. I got to see it. It was just interesting, I got to actually see that transpire. And history.
If you only had an iPhone and a live camera,
dude. I have a couple of friends. I used to sneak a friend or two into the club, and they had 35 millimeter cameras, like the Nikon F1 and the Minoltas. And there's photos out there. There's pictures out there of various kinds, and they'll pop up. They'll come up. They will.
I never met Carlos, but I saw him at NAMM one time. He walked past.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking with somebody. Maybe it was Mancuda or somebody. And all of a sudden, that's the guy from Quiet Riot.
That's it. Well, he's played now in Rat, and the number.
Okay. Yeah.
He did a little stint in Rat, and he's done a couple of others, but he did good for himself. He did really good for himself. I'll never forget. I'm cruising. I believe I was down at the beach cruising down in Hermosa Beach, and Metal Health came on the radio for the first time on KLOS, and I'm cranking, and it cranks that first riff out, and I said, "Wait a minute, I've heard that before. Where have I heard that?" Right? And it took me a while to figure it out, but I realized that, God, that's Snow's old opening riff that they opened every show with for a year, or longer. So yeah, cool.
And it became number one in 1983.
Yeah, it was huge, man.
That album did, yeah.
It was the first metal album ever to top the charts.
Yeah, with that riff. They rewrote it. It's not the same song. The riff is the same. The riff is identical, but the song's a little different. And Kevin Dubrow had a reputation for rubbing people the wrong way. He did. I watched him do it. Good God, I watched him do it a few times. But he was so talented and so good at what he did. And I'll tell you what. Yeah, he shined like the sun. He shined just like the sun. When he would sing, it was just amazing. I already say he had a mouth just like an alligator, but God, he could sing. Good God, could that guy? He had pipes, man. He didn't even need a microphone. Literally, didn't even need the mic. He could just belt it out, and he was awesome. It was awesome.
Did you have that guitar player on your show, Johnny, who was with that band recently, Alex Grossi? Am I mistaken? I want to say you had him on.
Wasn't me.
No?
I haven't heard the name.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll get him on if you want to see him.
Yeah. Get him.
Jabiel.
Get Mike on.
Huh?
Michael Anthony.
Michael Anthony?
That's who I want to see.
You never know, man.
You can do it, Johnny.
You never know.
Yeah. I would love to see you do that.
We actually did have him on. We had him on one kind of, sort of. You know, he was at the Guitar Center signing, and Caleb went and streamed. And Bars right in, hey, you're on Johnny Bean TV. And Mike's like, oh, hey. Yeah. So he kind of was on, sort of. But, I would say, probably. Yeah. But yeah.
What about Wolfgang?
That would be great. That would be awesome. Wolfgang, if you're watching this, we'd love to have you, man. We're the nicest. We're the real fans. We're love to have you and talk to you.
Yeah,
would be a show.
Maybe he will in time, once he starts working, once he starts playing, doing more press, because your show, Johnny, he would feel comfortable there. You stop by radio station X in Middle America on tour, sometimes it's not comfortable. You got to do it.
Yeah, because not every interview, every radio station or whatever, they really know.
Right.
They talk to all different kinds of people. It's the same questions, same whatever. But no, when it comes to Van Halen, I mean, that's what we do. That's what we love. There's a whole bunch of us, and no, we've been looking forward to Wolfgang and his record, and like what Charles was just saying when we started, been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting, and we're all just very proud that he's continuing on the Van Halen legacy.
Exactly.
Yep. And that it's different. That's the best part of it. That he's not, jumping around with striped overalls and a striped guitar.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Like
there.
Frank Sinatra Jr.
Yeah.
That he's doing his own thing, and it's still Van Halen.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, it is approaching midnight here on the East Coast. We are going to wind things down here before it gets really, really late. 5 a.m. comes mighty quickly.
With a vengeance.
I see you laughing over there, Charles.
With a vengeance.
Yeah.
I love this
my
chat.
God.
I love you guys, man.
Yeah, dude. Love you too, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
check out my shirt. I'm sporting. This is authentic Quentin James swag right here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's it.
He's in chat too.
This is one of the best shirts on YouTube. I'm just throwing it out there, you guys. You know, step up. There it is. Quentin, right there, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Quentin,
Awesome. Quentin,
where you at, Quentin?
wake up. Man. Oh yeah, Charles. Yeah, don't hang up either, because I wanna talk to you before well,
Oh, yeah.
after we
Cool.
jump off here.
Cool.
So Tony, hurry, end it.
Yeah. All right, kids.
Chad, take care of you guys. Be good.
We yeah. Next week here on the show, Reverend Kurt is going to be here. We're going to talk about the evolution of the Eddie Van Halen guitar tone through the years, where it started, what it became, how it ended, and everything along the way. It'll be a great show with Kurt and these guys. A lot of interesting, cool stuff and facts along the way. There he is.
Quentin, right there, man.
But yeah, we appreciate you being here, everybody. Thanks so much. Leave a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much. Thanks, Johnny Beane. Thanks, CK. Thanks, Charles Green. And we'll be right back here next Sunday night with Kurt, 10 p.m. Eastern. Everybody have a great week. And we will see you guys next weekend. See ya.
Rock on, guys. I love that music, man. That's great, Johnny.
Thank you. Dinner time. I'm starving.